Welcome to my You Only Live Twice review. I'm going to try and take this slowly because the other ones came out in under a minute, so under 3 minutes, and I want to sort of hit that 5 to 6 minute mark. So, welcome to my You Only Live Twice review. You Only Live Twice is the fifth. You Only Live Twice is the fifth film in the James Bond franchise. One thing I take from this film is it's full of iconic imagery. In that, I mean that a lot of its elements are iconic and are spoofed a lot, but the film itself isn't as iconic as these moments. So what I'm trying to say is obviously the famous hollowed out volcano is very well known and one of the best sets in Bond, and also obviously Blofeld in this film, the white Persian cap, the scar, the bald head. That's very, very, very famous and is definitely spoofed all the fucking time. So yeah, there you go. There's that. But don't take that as this is a bad film because it's really not. It's stylistic, it's arty, it's lots of fun, and it's also one of the best plot wise because the plot is just really good, and it works. Obviously, the weakness of this film, in my opinion, is it's just the Connie's performance. He literally just doesn't give a fuck. I mentioned this in the Thunderbolt reviews that there's moments in Thunderbolt where he clearly doesn't care, but in this film it's very, very apparent that he doesn't give a fuck. And I mean there are some valid reasons, right? Because there's some behind the scenes stuff where he in Japan he couldn't go anywhere without being caught by paparazzi and shit. And then there's a very, very famous story that he went to the toilet and he was on the toilet and he looked up and there was a man with a camera above him, and he came out and he was pissed off. I don't blame him because I would be too, but yeah, clearly this was the point where he was like, "I'm done with this shit." I mean, he'd come back for Diamonds Are Forever, but that's a different, and then he would come back again for Never Say Never Again. But those are two different stories for another time. But it also does a great job of showing off how beautiful a country Japan actually is. Like it shows it's a very culturally accurate film, if you ask me. It shows that Japan is just a wonderful country and one I wanted to go to. But yeah, come to think of it, that's the best way to describe this film. Just beautiful. It looks and sounds beautiful. Performance-wise, we have Donald Pleasance as Ernst Stavron Blofeld. He's clearly the most iconic version of Blofeld. Is he the best? I think Ted Varlas and Charles Gray would have something to say about that because I think those three, if you put them together as Blofelds, it's really hard to depict. Obviously, Pleasance is the iconic one, Savalas is the action one, and then Gray is that one. But yeah, he's not the best, but he's also not the worst. He's just like there. None of them are actually the definitive portrait of Blofeld, but then none of them are the worst portrayal of Blofeld either. So, and his introduction contains one of my favourite bits of dialogue between Bond and the villain. "My name is Ernst Stavron Blofeld. They told me you were assassinated in Hong Kong." Bond says, "Yes, this is my second life." Blofeld responds with, "You only live twice, Mr. Bond." We also have, which by the way, I'm reading off the review, and I just put W also. I didn't type the E, so that's fucking fantastic. W also, we also have the beautiful Akio Wakabayashi as Aki, and the even more beautiful Mie Hama as Kissy Suzuki. Then there's also Tetsuo Tamba as Tiger Tanaka. I think Tiger is one of the best of Bond's allies, and he stands with Kembe from Rush of Love and Milanos Colombo in Few Eyes Only as the all-time best Bond allies. I think he's not as warm as Kevin Bay, but he's also not as cynical as other ones. He's not a basic bitch really. Like that's a very bad way to go. But he's not as warm a presence as Kevin Bay is. No one's going to beat Kevin Bay in my opinion. Kevin Bay is just the ultimate in James Bond allies, but he's also not just stubborn and anything like that. And I think Columbo is my personal favourite Bond ally. I just love Columbo. He's been amazing in Few Eyes Only. But I think here Tiger's just a nice presence to have on screen. But yeah, if the film has weakness, again, it's Connor's performance. I've gone over this, so I'm not going to talk about it again. It clearly doesn't want to be Bond, blah, blah, blah. Music, once again, by Jonathan Barry. John Barry. Is well beautiful. Standout tracks include Captured in Space, the beautiful piece that plays when the capture was first taken. We have Mountains in Space, which is just a wonderful version of Journey Twice, the main song by Nancy Sinatra, which is a good song as well. You Only Live Twice is interesting, is that it has the most well, it didn't have the most, but it has the most known rejected Bond songs. There was obviously the famous one that was recorded by Julie Rogers, and this wasn't just some demo track; it was fully orchestrated and recorded. And the sad thing is that Rogers only found out that the track wasn't in the film when she went to go and see the film herself, which is just really sad. And then there's also an interesting one by another group. I can't remember the name, so we'll just go over it. It just goes over my head most of the time. Um, but yeah, the wedding, which is just a nice little Oriental sounding piece. Bond diverts World War Three, which has the Bond theme in it, and then James Bond in Japan, which is the gunbow music. If you want me to go more in depth with the tracks, like I just did in future reviews, let me know. I thought maybe it would just make Spices Up make it a bit longer, but hey, who knows how that goes. Another mention is the legend that is Ken Adam, whose work on this film is just beautiful. That Hollow Out Volcano set, like I mentioned, is just the best designed set in all of Bond, rivaled only by the tanker set that he also designed from The Spy Who Loved Me. To conclude, You Only Live Twice holds up quite well. And when you put it into perspective next to Thunderball, it holds up a lot better than Thunderball does. And it's sort of like, in terms of Connery's performances and how I rank Connery's Bonds, you have Goldfinger at the top, For Much of Love in second, Diamonds Are Forever third, and this film was under Diamonds Are Forever. And then after this one was under Diamonds, You Only Twice. Then it's Doctor No. Then it's Thunderball, in my opinion, because I don't like Thunderball. But yeah, that's how I ranked the Sean Connery films. But the film really stands as a testament to the skills of director Lewis Gilbert, who would go on to direct The Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker. The trio will be known as the Monorail trilogy, because they will have monorails in them, which is fun. But big changes for Bond were just around the corner after You Only Live Twice, and wow, a certain human being would inhabit the role next after You Only Live Twice. But that's a story for tomorrow's review on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Anyway, thanks for watching my You Only Live Twice review. Again, letterbox in the description. Letterbox reviews in the description. The link tree in the description. Go check those things out. Special thanks to Flame Fox Jaws who will be animating the outtakes this evening. I don't know he's not done it yet, but hopefully, I mean, he said he can do it. So special shout out to Flame Fox Jaws for volunteering to animate my shitty outtakes for this review. It's been fun. Have a wonderful day, guys, and don't forget to subscribe.